The topic of today's Dharma talk is Buddhist Hell. Now, of course, from the standpoint of absolute reality, no heaven or hell is dualistic opposites. Just reality as it is, the suchness of life. But we humans, we put our labels on this dynamic flowing reality, and we say, oh, this part is heaven, this part, these kind of things are hell. Okay? So let's use those terms so we can receive a teaching and have more right understanding and how to live. In Buddhism, heaven and hell are what we create here and now, not places we go after we die. You see, causes and conditions. Conditions are the indirect surroundings we find ourselves in or that come to us. But the cause, the direct cause, the immediate cause is us. It's more internal, not external surroundings. It's our attitude, okay? And it's our inner way that we deal with, respond to the conditions that we're in. Therefore, how we respond, especially let's say if someone acts in an angry way to us. Usually we get angry back. You say, of course, he made me angry. We don't realize that we have a lot more control over what goes on between our ears than trying to control others or make the world, our situation, exactly the way we want. You know, this is not just a matter of ethical ideals or moral values. This is very pragmatic too. Because if you spend all your energy and time in getting upset because people won't be like you want them to be or conditions won't come about even though you worked hard, okay? You should do that, indeed. But how you do it, your attitude, your inner state, is important. And there's for example, a famous story in the Buddhist literature about a samurai general who was going into battle, and he was kind of arrogant. He didn't know much about Buddhism, but he started to think, I'm going to get killed, and I want to know if I'm going to hell or heaven, and I want to get resolution on this. So he went to a teacher and said, I only have a few minutes before I go into battle, but straighten out this heaven and hell stuff for me right away. And the teacher said, well, I don't know if an arrogant guy like you could understand teaching even if I had a lot of time to explain it. And he went on to sort of berate this samurai. Now, samurai social class is the highest class in society. Priests, merchants, farmers, all below. And at that feudal time, samurai could even kill someone, behead them with his sword, and no consequences. That's how high the top social class was. So he didn't want to be insulted by these remarks, so he started to draw a sword out. And the priest said, there open the gates of hell. And this stunned the priest. He realized he received a great teaching here. And through the skillful means of this teacher, and so he put his sword back and he prostrated him on the ground and bowed in respect and gratitude to this great teaching he received. And then the priest said, there, open the gates of heaven. You see, there's another, let me give you another quick example. There's a cartoon that I like, one of my favorite cartoons, and it's of a scene in hell. Take a look at this. I don't know if you could see it very clearly, but there's a man pushing a wheelbarrow and he's whistling, and the two devil's assistants are overlooking the scene, and in the background there's some other guys that are sweating and suffering, but the guy pushing the wheelbarrow is whistling, and he looks like his face looks like he's kind of mentally retarded, perhaps, he doesn't know he's in hell. And the two assistants, the caption is, we're just not reaching that guy. Now there's a lesson here. It's not so much the conditions, it's our attitude, isn't it? And I call this cartoon, an idiot smile. Now, I don't mean idiot in a disparaging way, but he's above it all, He's got his own center. Okay? It's hard for us to live like that. Okay? To live an absolute life in a relative world. We're confronted every day in many situations with two doors, heaven and hell. Okay? And we have the power to go into one of those two doors and create our own karma. We often, if someone gets angry at us, well, that's their karma. How people respond creates their karma. How we respond to other people's anger to us creates our karma. We victimize ourselves if we try to attack them and argue with them and try to change them and, challenge them angrily. Just as important how we do things. I'm not saying that we shouldn't try to change the hellish conditions that we might find ourselves in. See, anger can be channeled. The energy, the negative energy, channeled and motivate us to work on creating more heavenly conditions. But in order to do this, we have to be creating our own good karma. Okay? And, ironically, by that example, we may influence the angry person in front of us. We may more effectively be able to do the good works. Okay? So, this is the important aspect. Hell is anger. Okay? Out of control, rage, and we're in hell. Okay? It's not the conditions, it's us. As Pogo said, we have met the enemy, he is us. Okay? We often blame and complain to outside things and say, oh, I couldn't help it, this is what happened to me. Okay? The most basic, pragmatic way of enlightened living, is creating our own karma, and being the center, having that center within. May it be so. Thank you very much.